Competing worldviews influence today's Christians, according to Barna. Quote, practicing Christians find the claims of new spirituality among the most enticing, perhaps because it holds a positive view of religion, emphasizes the supernatural, and simultaneously feeds into a growing dissatisfaction with institutions. Get this. For instance, almost 3 in 10, 28% of practicing Christians strongly agree that all people pray to the same God or spirit, no matter what name they use for that spiritual being. Further, the belief that meaning and purpose come from becoming one with all that is has captured the minds of more than 1/4 of practicing Christians.
So basically practicing pantheists.
Yeah, that's right. And, we're excited because today we get to talk about these things with Derek Rishmawy. He's the campus minister at UC Irvine. He's a PhD student at Trinity Evangelical Divinity School, and he also writes for Christianity Today and the Gospel Coalition.
He's not a pantheist.
Are you, Derek?
Yeah, not recently, no.
Yeah, it's good to be. What do you think about that quote? I mean, it's just amazing how new spirituality, I mean, I guess that's what Barna's calling it, is sort of penetrating into the minds of young Christians today.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I'm really glad to be here talking. On that question, yeah, it's interesting the way that the landscape has shifted over the last 50 years. It used to be that the default was you think, okay, there's spiritual people who are usually Christians and so forth, and then the rebels and the skeptics were usually going towards agnosticism or atheism, but secularism looks different right now, and the alternative spirituality route is really a big one. It's like people have figured out that just strict atheism or just that kind of I don't really know what's out there agnosticism doesn't really feed the soul. It doesn't sustain our sense of wonder, sustain our we look out at the ocean, we look out at the stars, we look at so much, and we think that there's got to be something more. And so people are looking at all these different options that are out there now that they're more aware of than maybe they have in past generations or educational cycles. And so they're reaching out to these things and finding depth, or at least the attempt at depth, and
at least finding shallowness.
Well, yeah. More than the thinness of kind of the atheism or agnosticism that has to say no. There's really nothing more. Well, they're saying, well, okay, no, there's something more. Now, a lot of times these nothing mores, they have the advantage though of the fact that they don't usually demand much more of them. That's the shallowness.
You can mix and match.
Yeah,
you kind of tailor it to your own spirituality.
Yeah. Pick and choose and kind of craft it all together into a blend that fits you, kind of like your favorite mix and match outfit.
I find more and more. I wanted to ask you this question because you're working with college students. You're a minister at working on the campus of UC Irvine. Do you see this more and more? I've run into people, younger people especially, who will say that they're atheistic or agnostic basically to get away from their upbringing as Christians. But then, as you cut a little deeper, it becomes pretty clear that they're, as you say, this is not your father's atheism. This is sort of, I may not believe that Jesus Christ is the eternal Son of God who rose from the dead on the third day, may not believe in a personal God, but I certainly believe that there's more to reality than what we can see, measure, taste, or feel.
Yeah, no, that's definitely there. One young lady recently I was talking to, she's exploring spirituality, wasn't raised with it, but is again convinced that there's a depth there. And, this is coming out in all sorts of ways. You check Instagram, and on certain days, all of a sudden, everybody's aware that Mercury is in retrograde or something like that. Astrology is coming back in a big way, or people will talk about healing crystals or energies or auras, and this is across the spectrum. You can find this on what websites like The Goop or something, or kind of on the more rightish conspiracy theory websites, and this kind of generic spirituality is pervading, and yeah, again, places like Instagram where people are tapping in to this kind of atavistic, vitalistic spirituality that just doesn't demand, doesn't have a right or wrong to it as much. Besides, you can usually form it to whatever liberal pieties or whatever general ethical precepts you find on the internet, but they're connecting to something, some sort of energy.
Something outside of them. It's interesting you referred to Mercury, that this recent issue of The Atlantic has a cover story, The New Age of Astrology. In a stressful, data-driven era, many young people find comfort and insight in the zodiac, even if they don't exactly believe in it. So that's part of what you're talking about, where they may not even believe in this spirituality past the point where today, right now, it is useful for me. It's not even really a belief as much as it is sort of something that they're playing with.
Yeah, it's like they're picking up on a structure. They need to have something in their lives. There's no, they don't have to go to church on Sunday. They don't have a pastor kind of telling them what to believe in these moments. But when it comes to why Monday went so poorly, or what mindset should I go to work with on Tuesday, they need some sort of reference point. And so this is out there, and they're kind of picking up on it. Like, I'm not sure really I believe in this, but that made sense out of my interaction with so and so on Thursday, because she's a Cancer, and and it just you kind of end up stumbling and rolling your way into some of this.